Good afternoon. This is Delyn. This is for Discussion Board 3, Week 6 in the American Revolution. This week we were to look at Thomas Jefferson and his legacy. And I chose to go a little bit different route than I think most people will do. When considering Thomas Jefferson, most people immediately think of his legacy as far as the founding of our country in terms of the Declaration of Independence, his role in helping establish religious freedoms here within our country, first starting in the Virginia legislature, along with his legacy in dealing with slavery. But what most people forget about is that Thomas Jefferson actually played a large role in our foundation of our educational system. Thomas Jefferson was a huge proponent of education. He believed that through education that the people would be able to be in better control of their democracy, that by having that education that they're going to be able to think clearly for themselves independently, and that independence and that clear ability to think and rationally think would help to perpetuate a democracy. Now, he was a huge proponent of a classical education. Now, for him, classical education meant learning the ancient languages such as Latin and Greek, and being able to read text by authors such as Herodotus, Homer, Livy, Suetonius, in their native language, in their original format, and not in the translations, because he felt that things got lost in the translations. But if students were able to go back and read those writings in their authentic and original format, then they were going to be able to better grasp what was really going on at that time and how they could take those studies and be able to apply them to going forward. According to Norbert Sand in the Classics in Jefferson's Theory of Education, which was written in the Classical Journal in 1944, he says that in 1785, the objects of a useful American education are set forth as including classical knowledge, modern languages, chiefly French, Spanish, and Italian, mathematics, natural philosophy, natural history, civil history, and ethics. These are all things that Thomas Jefferson wholly embraced. He was very much informed, and his theories of education were based and founded on a Lockean, as in John Locke's whole ideas. And he believed that if Americans had an education, then the barbarity of the French Revolution could not come to the American colonies, which was something that kind of bothered him, even though I think he supported the French people's rights to overthrow the monarchy. I think it really disturbed him in the way that they did so. And he felt that, okay, we need to educate our people, and our people, not just the aristocrats or the middle class, but the general populace as a whole, to be able to prevent things like that from happening. And to, not only that, but to give a moral and a virtue type understanding. In a letter to John Adams written on October 28th, 1813, Thomas Jefferson actually says this to him. He says, education would have raised the mass of the people to the high ground of moral respectability necessary to their own safety and to orderly government, and make education the keystone of our government. How much more clear can he get? Education was key. Education was the keystone that he believed to continue our democracy and be able to live with the freedoms that we were given by our Creator. And as a historian who does hold that biblical worldview, I tend to agree with him, because if we don't have a firm foundation, not only just in our own Bible studies, but in our education, then how can we know where we came from and where we're going? And according to Gordon E. Mercer in Thomas Jefferson, A Bold Vision for American Education, it was his argument that Jefferson's ideas not only led to the establishment of competing state universities, but also to his ideas in education were also similar to his political ideas on the need for separation in state. That he felt that as long as the ecclesiastical part of education was taken out and education was grounded in classical learning, then our democracy stood a better chance of surviving. So thank you.